Welcome back as we continue our conversation with Oregon senior U.S. Senator Ron Wyden. You have pressed Skydance Media about an alleged secret deal that could be related to Paramount's $16 million settlement with the Trump administration in advance of the proposed $8 billion mega merger between Skydance and Paramount. I want to mention that Paramount is a parent company of CBS. What's that all about? What are your concerns there?
Well, it's really an ominous situation for the First Amendment, because basically what you've got is a situation where Paramount wants some money and Trump wants to control everything that happens because his regulators handle mergers and that sort of thing. And my dad was a journalist, Ken. I think I might have mentioned that to you over the years. And my dad used to say things like, Ron, read the Founding Fathers. The Founding Fathers actually thought the First Amendment was almost more important than government because it gave everybody a chance to be heard. And it just seems to me that what Donald Trump is doing and using his agencies now is doing everything he can to push everybody around to get what he wants.
What's the real danger in that?
Well, the real danger is that the First Amendment is supposed to be something that's for all voices. It's not something that's supposed to only be voices for the powerful, and that's where I think Donald Trump wants to take it.
The president's so-called Big Beautiful Bill has phased-in cuts to Medicaid, which could affect thousands of Oregonians on the Oregon Health Plan.
One out of 3 Oregonians is on Medicaid.
Is on Medicaid, right, called the Oregon Health Plan here. The president says the reductions will come from eliminating fraud and waste and getting illegals out of the system. What's your take on that?
Well, it's just factually wrong, and the people who do the auditing and the analysis for the Senate have made it clear that that's wrong. The reality is that health care, particularly in our state, for kids and seniors and the disabled, is really a lifeline for thousands and thousands. And when Donald Trump says, oh, we're just going to deal with fraud and waste, he's ignoring the fact that he's putting people through so much red tape and bureaucracy that a number of people who are eligible for Medicaid, I believe, are going to find it very hard to get it.
What other aspects of the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill concern you the most?
Well, the fundamental premise is deeply flawed. It basically says we are going to cut Medicaid at about $1 trillion in order to use that money, in effect, for tax breaks for the people at the very top. And I said this morning at a program that what I'm going to be working on as we go into this budget and economic discussion over the next few months is what I'm going to be doing is trying to get health care back for Oregonians and make sure it's paid for by taking away the tax breaks for the people at the top. Middle class tax breaks, absolutely, because middle class folks spend that money on food and growth and housing and energy and the like. I want everybody to have a chance to get ahead. We want people to be successful, but it shouldn't just be for the people at the top.
Overall, the Republicans are in control of the White House and both houses of Congress. How important do you view next year's midterms for the Democrats?
Well, it's a long time away. I continue to believe, Ken, I think we've maybe talked about this, the best politics is good policy, and that's what we're talking about here. For example, I'm going to have a town meeting tonight, and I'm going to say, folks, I know that a lot of you have questions where the second word is bill. Might be medical bill, might be housing bill, might be gas bill, might be school bill. And I want to make sure that on the cost question, that everybody in Oregon knows what we're trying to do for them. One of the reasons that I've opposed this Trump tariff legislation so strongly as the ranking Democrat in the Finance Committee is that's going to raise costs on so many Oregonians.
How do you think the tariffs have affected us so far?
Well, we've been hit in many respects. I was with the wheat farmers not too long ago in Eastern Oregon. They said, Ron, let me tell you how it works. Number one, we're not getting a very good price for our wheat. Number two, our input costs are going up. And number three, we can't figure out what in the heck is going on because there's so little predictability and certainty. And one of them said, Ron, you've always worked with us. You come out and have these meetings and stuff. Just tell them back there what we want more than anything on trade is a little predictability and certainty. The president has changed his policies on trade more than 50 times.
But we also see on the other side of that, that the stock market reached a new high today. and we're recording this on Friday. This airs on Sunday, of course. But, I mean, we see the stock market reacting positively. How do you interpret that?
Well, the market has been all over the countryside, and I know the market is always concerned when Trump is looking at another one of his tariff proposals, and that's coming up in about a week. And if he takes us on another roller coaster, that's not going to be very appealing to the markets.
So you think things will change over the course
I
of the
believe
tariffs?
if Trump comes in on August 1, which is when he says he's going to do his next tariff program with another big round of hits. By the way, he was bragging about his proposal with the Japanese. We haven't even seen it in writing, but he said we're going to have a 15% tariff. A 15% tariff is a 15% tax on Oregonians, and the Pacific Rim is pretty important to us.
In terms of strategy, political strategy in Washington, D.C., how would you describe the tone there now, and where are the Democrats in terms of being able to make an impact?
Well, what I'm trying to do in areas like healthcare, for example, because healthcare is now the biggest employer in America, it's a major employer in Oregon, is I'm trying to make sure everybody really gets a sense of what our anchor is. And I tell people our anchor should be fairness in pricing and always encouraging innovation, the kind of breakthroughs and help with diseases. And the two are not mutually exclusive. Smart policies can make sure that you have health care that's affordable and innovative. Not so smart policies give you less of both.
Let's switch gears again here. I know you're a big basketball fan. I know you're excited to see Dame
is back in town, and I said, it's Dame time.
We know that the team is up for sale now. So considering the fact that Dame is back and he is an asset to the team, no doubt about it, even though he won't play this next season, what are your thoughts about the chance that a new owner could move the team out of Portland?
Well, first of all, Adam Silver, the NBA commissioner, has indicated just in the last couple of weeks that his general orientation is to keep the team in Portland. Now, he and I have known each other for decades, and there's an interesting little story. He was an intern for my former colleague, Les Aucoin, and we got to know each other then, and then he went to work for David Stern, and I'm confident that we're going to keep our eye on getting the stadium and the facilities in shape, and we're going to stay at it until we get that team locked down in Portland. I regard this as a top priority. I spent a huge amount of time working to get the WNBA team here. I think your people were there that February day when we had everybody come out, and the commissioner said she'd never seen anything like it. So I'm all in on keeping the Blazers in Portland. We are going to get it done. Count on it. It's a top priority of mine.
How gratified are you that we actually do have the WNBA team, the Portland Fire, and they're going to be playing starting next season?
I was just out at Nike. We're just thrilled about it. And by the way, we beat some really big people. We beat Philly. We beat Charlotte. That was an amazing day, that cold February day. And Kathleen Engelbert, the commissioner, couldn't believe. We had all the teams. We had the Ducks and the Beavers, this array of young people. And everybody said, we're hooping in Hermiston. We're rebounding in Roseburg. We are excited.
I was just speaking with Kerry Timchuk of the Oregon Historical Society. And he told me that next year you will surpass Mark Hatfield as the longest serving U.S. Senator from Oregon in history. How does that make you feel?
Well, it's pretty striking. I'm just a Jewish kid who wanted to play in the NBA, and I never expected any of this, and I got so lucky to work with the senior citizens, and I just feel I've been so fortunate to be involved in public service here at home.
You wrote a book that was just published earlier this year entitled It Takes Chutzpah: How to Fight Fearlessly for Progressive Change. A couple of points in the book that you made. You say if you want to make change, you've got to make noise, always play the long game, and leading is coaching. Those are some major points coming out of the book.
Don't forget, the first person mentioned in the book is Steve Prefontaine. And talk about chutzpah. Nobody thought that he could be a big-time runner, and all his coaches told him he was too small and the like, and he basically told everybody to take a hike, and he had a tremendous amount of chutzpah and went out and built a future as a runner. We've had other people like Phil Knight do the same thing, but I wanted to start the book with Steve Prefontaine, because now you go to track stadiums all over the country and certainly in Oregon, and you see Pre.
Why'd you write the book?
I wanted to write a different book. You know, most political books are basically senators saying how great they are, and you know, people are asking them to run for president and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to write something that would talk about what is America at its best, which is when we have grit and determination and we take on the odds, and we do the right thing. That's why we call it chutzpah.
Senator Ron Wyden, I appreciate you being here on Eye on Northwest Politics. Always a pleasure to see you. Good luck with the town halls this weekend, and we look forward to following you in Washington, D.C. and talking to you when you come back into the district.
To be continued, Ken.
To be continued. Thank you very much.